Good evening and welcome to the business meeting of March 26, 2026. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to open it up to public comment on any of the listed agenda items. Okay, so we will move straight into the consent agenda. Mr. Oliverio, number 1, please.
I am not up on that yet,
Resolved
but
to
we're
approve-
doing it right now.
Want me to resolve to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 9 as presented to the board at this meeting?
Second.
There we go.
Questions or comments?
The consent agenda includes approval of the previous meeting minutes, CSE, CPSE placements, the updated substitute listing for the school year, approving an unpaid leave of absence for a staff member, accepting 2 donations, approving agreements with Health and Welfare with Somers School District, and an attorney agreement with Keene and Bean to cover the term April 1st through June 2026, approving a CEQA resolution for type 2 action regarding the outdoor fitness equipment at the middle school, high school campus, and approving the cooperative joint bidding resolution with PNW BOCES. And I just want to say who the donation is from.
PVEF and Booster Club?
Booster Club and Education Foundation.
The Education Foundation and the Booster Club. Thank you.
Thank you. And we certainly thank them for their generosity. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. We're going to start with a budget presentation.
So we're going to welcome Dr. Chan back to the mic to do our budget presentation, part 2.
Good evening, Board of Education, Putnam Valley community. First, I want to thank my staff because this is the only time I get to thank them. Matthew, my treasurer, Debbie, Karen, and Cynthia, and also thank the IT department who helped me try to do this in the best IA presentation that we could. So, this is the summary of everything that's going on with the budget. The proposed budget for the next year, 26-27, is $65,254,332. Our proposed budget-to-budget increase is 3.04%, and the proposed tax increase is 1.98%. I wanted to tell you that this next 2 slides are the slides that we use to determine the formula to figure out the property tax cap, and I tried to simplify it as much as I can, and this is our situation here.
Bless you.
We start with the prior year tax levy, and then we have a tax-base growth factor, which is specific to Putnam Valley. This year, it's only 1.0%. Then we subtract the prior year capital exclusions, which are a number of formula numbers that go into this $2,195,647. We come to the adjusted prior year tax levy. And to that, we multiply the allowable levy tax growth factor, the lesser of the CPI, or 2%. This is the 2% that you keep reading about in the newspaper. Then we come up with the tax levy limitation before exclusions. And to that, we have a few numbers that go into this current year capital exclusions, which we add back to the tax levy limit before exclusions, and we come up with the maximum allowable proposed tax levy limit. This year, that number, due to all the calculation, comes out to 1.98%. And in dollars, that means that we will be able to increase our levy with the dollar amount of $844,363. This is a historical tax cap inflation factor. I know that a lot of people like to see what has been happening over the last 10 years. And in 26-27, the CPI is going to be 2.64%, but we were limited to the 2% in the tax cap calculation.
I did that.
Like some people like to see in a graph form, that orange line across is what the tax levy has been, and the graph going up and down, the blue is what the inflation factor is. Okay, so we will get a maximum allowable tax levy limit of $43,412,658. We have to make up the difference in revenues in other areas. Just wanted to show you what the tax cap is for our neighboring school district. This is what they come up with when they do their own calculation. However, I'm listening to some of the other business officials, and I'm finding out that there are some districts that intend to pierce the cap. We are nowhere near that. We are safely at 1.98%. So these are some of the key drivers when we're putting the budget together. We're looking at the contractual salaries. We're in negotiations this year. There's increase in the health insurance. There are state mandated benefit increases. We're looking at transportation and operational overhead costs. There's instructional program needs and updates. And we continue to invest in the comprehensive student services. This is a graph that will show you the difference in the state aid comparison of our neighboring school districts. And we're right there in yellow, Putnam Valley. And we have an increase in the state aid of $773,981, which is not a lot of money, but I'm always grateful when the state aid did not go down. Here's a comparison of the neighboring school districts again. And there we are down on the bottom with $17,034,000 from year to year. It's a comparison of last year's state aid to this year. This is the enrollment of our school district just in one snapshot of the whole school. A lot of people like to ask me about the cost per student versus the enrollment, and this graph shows you what that is. There are a lot of components that go into figuring out what is in this cost, and I just wanted to highlight, I get these numbers from the transparency report, and in there is the transportation, the charter school tuition, these are the items that are excluded from this cost report: the transportation, the charter school tuition, other tuition, debt service, and other. These are our proposed revenue sources, a comparison from last year to this year. So you see state aid over there, we have a 4.72% increase. Our taxes is 1.98% increase, is what we went over before on the tax cap. We have other local revenues, about increase of 49.55%, and a transfer in from debt service. This is where we're using some of our reserves from the debt service, and the capital projects that were closed. And then we have using some of our fund balance and reserves. So this is how the budget-to-budget increase comes out to 3.04%. This is a pie chart showing you the same information as we just went over on the revenue sources. This is also revenue, but I'm highlighting that under the miscellaneous revenues, Garrison represents 28% of our other revenues, and this is because we're bringing Garrison kids to be taught here in Putnam Valley. This is a three-part budget when we just divide up where most of the expenses are being used, and that would be program is 76%, which is what we want it to be. We have a proposed 26-27 budget expenses, and this is divided up by the categories that I'm asked to do when we report it to the state. With instruction, we spend 52%, transportation is 7%, interfund transfers, that would be transfer to capitals, and money that we put into grants. There's a general support of $6,003,000 and undistributed of $18 million. So we're investing in the people who educate our students. 71% of the budget is the salaries and the benefits. Okay. The remaining 29% funds all the facilities, the operations, special education programs, debt service, technology, and transportation. This is a line by line of where we expect to spend the budget next year. And again, you'll see in red, 71% of the salaries and benefits. And you'll notice there are some things that do go down. For example, special education has gone down by around $500,000. We do look at every line when we put the budget together. We do not just roll over the budget from year to year. This is a project that we are planning to put in the outside of the wellness center. This is a project that's going to happen in the summer. The district received a $60,000 grant from outside source, and then this is the $5,000 from the Booster Club and $5,000 from the Putnam Valley Education Foundation. This will be accessible to the public when it's put in. And hopefully, we can attract more Garrison kids because we're the only ones that will have this here. This is some of the artwork that's going to go on this wall of the outside court. Another picture here. And here's a list of capital projects, which I'm sure that our facility director at some point will be going over. The next steps and the May 19th budget vote, which is an important date, and this is our proposition. Any questions? All of this will be online. I did not expect anyone to memorize any of my numbers.
I do have a couple questions. So in our the meeting that we just had, there was talk about the debt reserve funds and the $4 million. Can you just talk to that so we could get ahead of the information and make sure we get the correct information out?
Right. So there is a debt surf reserve, sort of, that was in existence before anyone in this room was in administration here. And it was probably consists of many projects over the years. And then when the money is there, we have to add interest to because we earn interest. That has grown to about $4 million when I came here last year. And we use that money every year that I've been here. We use it to help balance the budget because when we don't get enough funding from other sources, then I have to look within our reserves to spend that money. So this year, we are spending a considerable amount of that, and that would be going down. It would be reflected in the financials each year. You will see that $4 million going down. And when I first came, I had to investigate what it was, and we can't just pull the money out. We have to make sure the projects were in fact completed, and we had to find out where the project money comes from, and that's how it gets returned. So the external auditors are evaluating that with me every year, and then as I need money to balance the budget, we are pulling it out, and it's a discussion that the superintendent and I have all the time.
Thank you. So on slide 15, you have the fund balance and reserves, and it's $1.2 million. Did that come out of that $4 million?
Okay, 15. So that's a different reserve that I'm using.
Okay.
We have reserves for ERS, which I am allowed to pull out the money and use that to pay for the ERS bill instead of, again, asking the taxpayers for more money. Where you see the transfer in from debt service and capital project, that's the number in there. Basically, it's the $795,610.
Okay.
Some of it is a small amount. I think it was $55 from a small capital project that happened recently, and I'm keeping on top of those projects to close them out and bring the money back into the operating fund. But most of that was from part of the $4 million.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong column when I said the total, so thank you for that. Thank you for the explanation, appreciate it. One more question though. And I don't expect you to have this answered, although you may. Do we know what the BOCES component of our budget increase is year over year for this year?
I do have that. I don't have it on my slide, but I can definitely give that to you.
Okay,
I
but it
prepared that.
is an increase, just to confirm.
I think off the top of my head, if it increased, it would be a little bit. We
Okay.
pretty much stay even when we try to use the BOCES as much as we can, because as you know, we get our BOCES aid back.
Great.
So we, as a whole in the district, we always look at trying to use the BOCES as a source.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I just had one question that I think would be helpful for the public to know. Thank you, Dr. Chen, you always do such a nice job, and these graphs are really, really, really helpful this year to be able to really understand, where the money is going. The $18 million on slide 19 that says undistributed, can you talk a little bit about what goes into that particular portion of the budget?
Right, I don't have that off the top of my head right now. I can get that back to you, but it has things like the current debt service. There's some benefits in there, things like that.
Okay.
Okay, but I can get that for you.
Great.
So I have the answer to the first question because Dr. Chan keeps very meticulous notes. So I opened up your spreadsheet. So the proposed BOCES budget for this year versus last year. Our adopted budget was 4.975 million, and our proposed budget for next year is 5.532 million. So it's an increase of $557,000 in our BOCES budget from last year to this year.
Thank you.
And Crystal, if you don't mind, I'll go back to my seat and look at my budget things. I'll have the answers to undistributed before the end of the meeting.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. I
Okay.
just think it's helpful for the community to know what undistributed really
Right.
means.
Well,
for
Right.
I mean, that would cover insurances, things like that.
Yes,
That,
yes.
you know,
Right.
that you don't know the amount yet, but you will be billed for it later on.
Well, I have to have projected an amount by now.
Right.
But what happens is what qualifies as undistributed, it's just a definition that the state gives me when they want to know all these pieces and where they are. So it's a
Right.
definition, so when I go back to my seat, I can list it out for you exactly what's in
Perfect.
there.
That would be great. I think it's good for the community to know.
Thank you.
It's fair to say that it's a terrible word. It's not $18 million that's there just waiting to be used. It's not
Correct.
distributed. It's more so centralized expenses versus unexpended expenses. So
Right, and I think the important part for the community to know is that it's a term that we have to use per the state, that the state defines. It's not something that we just said is an arbitrary amount of money that's just sitting there. And I think that's the reason why I feel like Dr. Chan should, just go over what's included in that and what the state says is the definition of undistributed funds. So that people know when they're looking at these charts online, hopefully they do their research about what our budget is all about this year, that they have a better understanding of what that means.
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, there was one thing I was just going to clarify. Well, we had an increase in state aid on the slide of $700 and something thousand. I just want to point out that of that, less than $100,000 of that is true aid that comes in the form of foundation aid. I think our foundation aid increase right now is about $96,000. So the other 600 something thousand dollars, yes, it's coming in as aid, but that aid is reimbursement for expenses for the previous year, right? So 600 plus thousand of that is expense-based aid, whether it be transportation aid, BOCES aid, any of the other aids that they offer. So those are really expenses we expended last year, and that's kind of our reimbursement coming in. But if you look at true foundation aid, which is actual money we're getting from the state, not based upon a previous expense, it's under $100,000.
So, Crystal, I have the answer here. It's most of the employee benefits is like 16 million, and that includes the ERS, the TRS, Social Security, workers' comp, life insurance, unemployment insurance, health insurance, union welfare, and the compensated absences. In addition, they have me add in the debt service and also the installment purchases.
Perfect,
All
thank
that
you.
equals the 18 million.
Thank you so
Because
much.
When people think instruction, they think that includes all of teachers' salaries and stuff,
Right.
and it doesn't. If they're,
So
Distributed
essentially,
the undistributed is,
it might be able to be said that I'm trying to look for the slide. What slide is that?
that
Let's
the
see.
instruction is 76%.
That the
so,
instruction,
yeah.
correct, is really the vast majority of the budget, even when you break it down like that.
I think the true percentage
Right.
of the budget that goes directly towards instruction is typically between 74 and 76% of the overall budget.
Right.
If you take the benefits piece for instruction
Right.
plus the salary piece of instruction and add those up,
Yeah.
it comes out to over usually 75% of the budget.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen.
Next year, I'll include a slide to specifically list all that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We get at it for the next, it'll mix it up a little bit for the next presentation. We'll add one slide. We'll focus on that one slide.
Well, if you just broke the undistributed up into benefits and retirement, you would see
Yeah.
a huge difference. Okay. Students, do you have, I know that budget is like, the numbers make my eyes roll back in my head, so, but do you have any questions or comments on how we're spending our money?
I don't really understand the outside thing.
What do you mean?
Like, the thing that's going outside?
So
the-
it's an outdoor fitness court. We got a grant to cover a substantial part of it. So it's going to be out by the wellness center where the wellness trail comes through over there, kind of where the garden is now. We're going to move the garden.
Like there?
Yep. back behind the Wellness Center. So the garden's going to move. It's going to go there. And it's kind of an outdoor fitness area. There'll be like a pull-up bar station, a dip station, other stuff like that, where whether community members using the trail want to stop and exercise or classes could go out there. Just kind of, it's all standing exercise type equipment. Boxes you could jump up on, things like that.
Interesting.
I'll expect you out there every day, demonstrating. I'll get Sass hooked you up with you.
Yeah, I've seen them other places on other trails, so.
In fact, the town park recently put something similar
Yeah,
in the town park.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Students, do you have a report? What's been happening in your world?
There was like the IB cast presentations today for the seniors. I don't know if Luff said it at the last meeting, but Julian Vasquez got like the Aspire painting.
Yeah.
He like won. We're like getting closer to prom and seniors need to get their permission slips in. And then Into the Woods is coming up in a few weeks.
So
the musical, yeah. That's it though.
Very exciting. I'm just trying to think. Oh, yeah, the cast, you mentioned the presentations today. So I was a little, I liked the old format. So I went into this morning thinking, this is not what I wanted to see. But it was actually a great change. I know they had changed it some last year, but this was great. The board showed their theory of knowledge question and answers, their CAS presentation, and their extended essays. The students were enthusiastic and answered questions or took suggestions. I thought it went really, really well. So I know.
I thought it was outstanding. It was the first time I was able to see every student and review every one of their projects. The way they would segue the three components into a whole entity to reveal who they were and what they were about. I was wowed by it. I really enjoyed it. I thought, man, that's the height of real student involvement with academia.
And
Really.
to me, I would listen to each of the presentations, and then I'd say, like, so what are you going to do next year?
Yep.
New, like a whole nother thing.
I know.
Not what they did, not any of their presentations, but something else entirely, which I think is great because it keeps their options open. They're
Yeah.
open to whatever might come and to looking at more than one lane where I can only go down this lane. So I was really impressed. I'd really love more of the community to be able to see those things. They were great.
Absolutely.
And is it on your list? I don't want to talk about it if you.
Go ahead, talk away.
Mrs.
Everybody
Odell's?
always steals my stuff. Yes, I have it. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll wait. That's okay. Okay, Dr. Luft,
Hold on, I'm getting,
what's been happening in your world?
well, I'm getting harassed by Miss Levine, who's still in the recovery room. But she did tell me that I can give an update. So she's seriously texting me right now during the meeting. I'm sure she's watching on her phone.
My goodness.
Does everybody want to say hi? Everybody want to wave to Jackie?
Hi,
We love you.
I hope she's not watching us.
hope you're better.
No, she's literally texting me right now. She's watching from the recovery room.
Turn off your phone.
So, for those who, may notice that Jackie is not here, but she is successfully, sorry, I gotta stop reading it. So, she is recovering from a successful procedure she had done, and we will miss her in her absence, but we wish her well, and we can't wait to have her back. But she's doing fine, so I wanted everyone, she told me I could provide that update. Other news, so many of us had the opportunity to attend the elementary school science maker fair or science fair to see the student projects. They're always impressive. The students have poster boards set up, they have models, demonstrations. I like where they start, like, have you ever thought why? Is their question. They got their little hooks down. So many of us had the opportunity to go and sort of be quasi-judges at first, and then they had the opportunity to present to other students as well as their families. The room is always packed, and we always leave impressed by the amount of work that these students put into these projects. And thank Ms. Ross and Ms. Bruno for the work they put in, as well as some assistance from our science research students to help guide these students along the way. We had our superintendent's conference day, a lot of building and grade level professional development and training, as well as some safety plan overviews at our elementary school where they were practicing their reunification. So teachers out on the field, and they were practicing lining up students, and I was yelling out there to make sure they didn't lose any. Of course, there was no students in school, but it was all a great opportunity to take advantage of the time and to practice things we can't otherwise practice. We've had lockdown drills held at both campuses as required by the state law. We spoke a little bit about the upcoming high school play, but we did have our elementary school Schoolhouse Rocks play, as well as our middle school Once Upon a Mattress musicals. As always, extremely impressive. Our students are exceptionally talented, and we'd love to see them up there showing off their skills. In the presentation realm, we had Seal of Biliteracy presentations, as well as our CAST TOK presentations, as we've already spoken about. Our middle school held their National Junior Honor Society induction, which I attended after our winning girls flag football team dominated 2 games in a row. 2-0, right? 4-0. 2 in a row this week. We spoke a little bit about Miss Odell and her class to their wax museum. Regent Wills joined today as well. I got to see her in the office afterwards. Unfortunately, I had a conflict and was able to attend. And we had a listening hour prior to this meeting. Conversation focused on budget, senior tax exemption, as well as some building level issues. So I thank all those parents who took their community members, took the time to come out, and we appreciate their feedback. And news to share, we have the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Rosa, is scheduled to attend our school. She actually reached out to us and asked if we would have her. She's heard great things about what's going on here in Putnam Valley, and she wants to come see it with her own eyes. So her members from her office will be scheduled, or is currently scheduled, to visit our schools on Monday, May 11th. Scheduling has been a bit of a nightmare, but I think we're locked into a date now. It was the 20th.
Yeah, I was going to say, so
Changed.
so it's now May the 11th.
Hot off the
May the
press.
11th.
May the 11th. So you will get a new invite
Okay, great.
for May the
Thank you.
11th.
because I
Thank
put it on
you.
my-
So she'll be visiting each of our buildings and having opportunity to sort of see it in action on that day. And High School Musical Into the Woods, April 17, 18, and 19. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? The science fair was amazing. I hope we have scheduled them for before a board meeting.
You know what? Maureen just texted me. Make sure you mention that the science fair kids are scheduled to do their presentations before the board meeting on April 7th. So the students that will be going on to the regional science fair will have their presentations set up here in the front hallway before our meeting on Tuesday, April 7th.
So our next meeting.
Our next meeting,
Okay.
Tuesday, April 7th, right after the break.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We're here, break, then we're right back here. My report will probably be short.
I would like to say about the science fair at the elementary school, it was excellent as usual. And I would love to see something happen at the middle school.
I agree.
We
I
need to
agree,
keep
Jeanette.
on top of that. And I know there's a resource concerns and other
trying.
things, but I think it would really benefit students in the middle school.
announcement for any middle school teachers who'd be interested in leading. We're all in.
The flow from the elementary to the high school would be complete then. I agree
Yeah.
with Jeanette 100%.
I'm with you. I've been advocating for this for probably 10 years now.
That would be really nice to have those middle school kids. And it's voluntary. It's not the entire grade or something.
Right.
It's those who wish to participate.
Are we hiring a middle school science teacher this year?
We are.
Okay, that's a great thing to put on their responsibilities.
Can we tell them they have to do it?
Well, it's a great way
Their
to
union,
go above and
their
beyond.
union might disagree with that statement. But we're willing to pay them for it, just like we do at the elementary school.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Maybe a
the-
great thing in middle of the interview, just to let you know. Just to
I
put
think
them
you'll,
on.
see- I think
Okay.
you'll see, as we did last year and have, that the more our students do this, learn to speak publicly, learn to research their own ideas, speak with their own voice, the better they get at it.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
you know, they were so enthusiastic, and Dr. Luft is right. Like their leading questions and their enthusiasm was just really amazing.
There was one student in particular that took a video of himself doing his experiment. It worked. Everything was fine. And the night of the science fair, he could not get it to
Couldn't
work.
get it going.
And that young man showed up and presented to people anyway. And I was just so incredibly proud of his resiliency, which is our theme. So I just...
So that was
I
good use
so-
of the word. I like that. You embed that core value in there.
Right, that core value was 100% front and center that night. And it was just beautiful to see him push through, because he was quite upset about it, but he made it work, and he figured it out, and he figured out how to present, and he had his video, and then he said, you know, sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. It's the way science works, and then we ask more questions. So it was great to see him push through that moment.
Yeah. Once Upon a Mattress.
Oh, okay.
As sad as it is, a couple years ago, a student dropped their presentation on the way like into the room to set it up. Needless to say, it didn't work when it came
Yes.
time to.
Life,
happens.
you know,
Yeah,
it does.
It does happen.
But, you know, our student representatives, as well as any of us that have lived long enough to have done anything, it doesn't always work the way you want it to. And sometimes how you deal with that is more important actually than the project itself. So, anyway, I was thinking, I said after Schoolhouse Rocks at the elementary school, I said, so I wanted some of these presentations, like the one about the preamble and the Constitution, maybe could they just perform it for Congress, maybe, you know, in Washington, remind them of why they're there. But it's a great way to learn, and then you remember that kind of thing. So I had those songs running in my head. The Once Upon a Mattress, I was only at the dress rehearsal, but like really amazing
It was funny.
job, really funny,
Yeah.
and really good. And again, it's that continuum, elementary, middle, high school, that builds the skills that they'll need when they get here. So it's nice that they're doing that. Okay, so let's move to new business.
Okay. Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Katie Conley to a 4-year probationary term as a library media specialist, commencing on September 1st, 2026, and terminating on August 31st, 2030, in the 10-year area of library at the middle school on Step 1 MA of the PVFT salary schedule. Ms. Connolly holds a library media specialist internship certificate.
Second.
Questions or comments? This is going to be, she's going to be in the middle school, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Miranda Hochberg will be moving on to the high school to fulfill the vacancy created when Ms. Demeen retires, and Ms. Conley will be filling the vacancy at the middle school.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 2, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to accept the resignation of Georgine Bignato from her position as a bus driver, or a bus monitor rather, in the district, effective March 27, 2026. Ms. Bignato will remain in her position as a lunch monitor, as per document number 158-26, attached to the agenda and official minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? Do you want to do a public service announcement for?
All potential bus monitors wanted. Apply below. Apply within.
Yeah, it's such an important, I know it seems like a little thing, but it is such an important thing to make sure that students are safe and get home safely to and from school. So I'm glad Dr. Luff did his public service announcement. Okay, number 3, please.
Resolved.
Oh, I'm sorry, did we vote?
Yep.
Okay.
I can- Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Nora Palaka to a probationary appointment as a school monitor effective March 23rd, 2026, with a probationary period of 52 weeks, March 22nd, 2027, at the middle school on Step 4 of the CSEA salary schedule.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 4, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Sonia Ferrara to a probationary appointment as a school bus monitor effective April 7th, 2026, with a probationary period of 52 weeks, April 6th, 2027, at the Transportation Department on Step 2 of the CSEA salary schedule.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 5, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Juliana Peeler to a 4-year probationary term as an elementary teacher commencing on September 1st, 2025, and terminating on August 31st, 2029 in the elementary tenure area on Step 1 MA of the PVFT salary schedule. Ms. Peeler holds childhood ed 1 through 6, students with disabilities 1 through 6, and literacy 1 through 6 initial certifications.
Second.
Questions or comments?
So Ms. Peeler has been here for the duration of the school year, serving as a leave replacement, a full-year leave replacement. It worked out where a vacancy opened up for her, so now we are changing her 1-year leave replacement into a probationary appointment dating back to her beginning of her service this school year.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 6, please.
Resolved to approve the notice of public budget hearing, budget vote, other propositions, and trustee election for the May 19th, 2026 vote for the Putnam Valley Central School District as per document number 155-26 attached to the agenda and official minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? It's going to be at the elementary school, correct?
Correct.
From 6
6 a.m. to 9
to 9 p.m. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Are we doing anything to encourage seniors who can vote to vote? Do you know if there's any kind of been a push for trying to get people registered to vote that are students?
Oh, I didn't realize.
Not those
Okay.
seniors.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
No, these seniors, right?
12th graders.
Yeah,
No,
12th
they haven't
graders.
said it, they haven't said anything, but last year they think they did something during school.
They
Yeah,
haven't
who
yet.
did that?
The
Do
18
we know?
Usually the
haven't
student
done it yet.
government does it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's important.
So, yeah, if you could mention it to student government people that you see, that, if they need any help or support, whatever they need.
If you're 18, able to vote, I mean, do it, you know. It- What's
That's
that?
your birthday?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh,
Mine was
then
at the last one.
go.
This is
go
a
for
good
it.
thing to do on your
Register,
birthday.
yeah. I know they used to, and Maureen, correct me if I'm wrong, they used to have a table or something for the kids to register at, once upon a time. Do they still?
State Poli does something, but you can register anybody after the age of 16, and they just hold the registrations at the county.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
That is amazing information.
Yeah, I never knew that. Wow.
I didn't know that either.
Okay, good, good.
I'll reach out to them.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you,
thank
thank
you.
you.
We need a vote on that.
Huh?
We haven't voted.
We didn't yet, no. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Okay, what's next? Okay, we'd like to open it up for public comment on any topic?
Yeah, any happier than you were earlier in the evening?
Good evening.
Good. That's much better.
My name's Joe Ferraro. A few things. I wanted to thank you for, since your last meeting, I should say, I had supplied you, Dr. Luft, as well as Maureen Bellino, the proposed documents for the ballot, which you approved for a public hearing today. I think it's going to be, is it item 3? Item 3 on the ballot for the library's budget. We did submit our 80+ signatures, so we're well over the number that we need to get onto the ballot. So I wanted to thank you for making that all official. One of the things, something I was looking at your website, or I saw in one of the updates, the Once Upon a Mattress, and seeing pictures from the show, which looked amazing. I didn't go to see, but it's been a number of years since I've seen a show on the middle school stage, and because my daughters were involved, or my oldest daughter was involved in the theater, but it's been a while since the middle school. Something that stood out to me very clearly is the change in the district and the diversity of the students that are on that stage. It's very much much more diverse student body than has been in the past, for sure. And then I had brought that up to somebody, and they had mentioned that nearly all of the transfers into the district have been Spanish-speaking or Hispanic. And I know that at multiple meetings there have been discussions about the needs, specific needs for bilingual teaching, et cetera, as well as any additional services necessary. So I want to commend the district in addressing those. At the library, we've actually just started a new program where we have story time, and we have bilingual story time as well. So seeing how our community has changed is really quite exciting. It's an opportunity for us to kind of to think differently than we have for the last 50 years as to what Putnam Valley really is, and that we're a more inclusive, open town and school district. I have nothing to add other than I'm glad to see that the diversity has really been a net positive, to see that creative outlet and to see different faces on the stage than what might have been 10 or 15 years ago. That's
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. It is true, and it was also so nice to see the students who were the stage crew. They're learning a tremendous amount in terms of monitoring themselves, monitoring what's going on stage, bringing stuff on, bringing stuff off. The lighting, like all that was done by middle school students. Really, a really nice job. Okay, upcoming meetings.
So our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th, and the meeting after that is Tuesday, April 21st. So the next two meetings will be held on Tuesdays, 7th and 21st of April.
All right. Board member comments. Anything happening?
I just want to compliment Mrs. Odell, Katie Odell's presentation of the Wax Museum today, where these young third graders dressed up as historical figures and literally tell a quick history about Walt Disney or Helen Keller or
Mother
on
Teresa,
and on.
yeah.
And
Paul Revere.
the way it works is you have to press this magic button to get them to activate. It was so creative and imaginative. I was really impressed. And compliments Mrs. Odell. Great job.
It was a lot of fun to participate. We always have great things occurring in the schools, but there's been a lot occurring the last couple of weeks, so it's great to see.
And I know that there are all kinds of presentations going on in classrooms that we're not invited to. Every once in a while I'll get one from a teacher that I knew when I was teaching. And it's really, seeing students demonstrating their learning is just the best. So it makes coming to
I
these
agree.
meetings worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last month has been just so chock full of
Great stuff.
great stuff. The elementary play, the middle school play, award nights. I mean, just beautiful to see our students working so hard and having so much fun while they're learning. I think one thing that's unique to Putnam Valley is the environment that we create in our schools for our students. And that is attributed 100% to the leadership and the staff, making them places where kids want to learn, want to thrive, want to be. Yeah, and I also want to just give a plug to our PTA. They've been hosting the grade level events at the elementary school for the last few months throughout the school year. And it really is a tremendous amount of work to plan those events. And they do it just because they want to, and I think it's been tremendous. There's been a good turnout for a lot of the events, so thank you to the PTA. And then also, I just want to put a plug for the spring gala for the PVEF. That's going to be on April 12th, and tickets are available online.
I had that too. There's a QR code.
Yes,
Check-
there is a
check-
QR
check- check-
code.
Which I don't understand.
We'll show you.
Beyond me. Okay. I'd like a motion to convene an executive session for one matter of collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, the Taylor Law. There will be no business conducted afterwards.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Good night, everybody.
Have a happy spring break.